It's your girl Rachel. I am here for another great interview with Bob Alexander. How are you today, sir?
Oh, things are doing great. Thank you.
Doing gr- He is joining us all the way from, if I can get this right, you are all the way in Maryland, correct?
In Maryland, that's correct. We're
Yes,
East Coast boys.
East Coast boys. I had the pleasure of seeing their unique show that they have, and I kind of wanted to give back to them for what they're doing in the community and just kind of talk about what everything that they do. So go ahead, Bob. Explain to everybody what your show is about.
Okay, Bob Alexander with Outlaws and Peacemakers. We're one of the groups that does this. We all kind of mix together. We're a bunch of ragtag people. Most of us have grown up watching Westerns on the TV. We still have some younger guys coming in. But what we do is rob trains here on the East Coast. And we also have some weekend events where we have about 80 to 100 cowboys, gunfights, all the things you can expect, as well as being able to discuss history. You can walk up to any one of these guys and they could give you a little history on any question you might have about either their persona or what the firearms they might be carrying or what they have. If it's a particular campsite, might be a fur trader, could be just about anything that they could fill you in on the history of whatever they're doing.
Mhm. And that's
But
what I found. Go ahead.
there are four trains that we rob. We started many years ago, even before I got involved, at Walkersville Southern Railroad. I got connected with these guys in about 2007. And somehow or another, I got voted to be the guy in charge of setting up the events. So we grew it. We grew it to the Northern Central Railroad up in Pennsylvania. We've gone out to the Stewartstown Railroad, and we're now getting ready to do the East Broadtop Railroad out in the middle of Pennsylvania.
That's That was my
The
fault.
weekend events we do are one that's actually coming up this weekend in New Freedom, Pennsylvania, where we again have a campsite. We'll have about 80 cowboys camped to work in chuck wagon. There'll be a lot of things for kids to do, and we'll also be robbing their train at the same time. So it's a busy weekend.
It's gonna be a great, great weekend.
A lot of this happens out west, out towards your area, and even further out west. You don't see much of this on the East Coast, which is why we really have a good time doing it.
Mhm. And I really did enjoy it. I went out there with my brother and my mom and my sister-in-law and my nephews were there with us, and we had the best time. And we all left being like, "Wow, that was really amazing and very unique." So you say they've been doing this for a long time, correct? Since before
Since
2007?
7, I was doing it. There's a couple of guys that have been doing it just a little bit longer.
Mhm.
Uh, Again, we've got some new guys. We've got a new kid about 17 years old, just came on board, got excited about doing it. So we'll put him to work. You want to come play cowboy, we'll help you.
That's amazing. So I know you had mentioned that you talk about history a lot, especially with the characters that are there. So we met Mark Twain on their train, and he was telling a bit of history.
Yeah, Mark and I and actually do another event
Mhm.
where he does a Mark Twain lecture, and I actually represent his best friend in life, who
Mhm.
was Henry Huddleston Rogers, which
Nice.
nobody knows who he is. So I give a little history lesson first on Henry and how they met. They were very best friends for the last 16 years of Henry's life.
Mhm.
Henry died in 1909, Mark died in 1910.
Mhm.
And he actually got Mark Twain out of bankruptcy, which is why you know Mark Twain today.
Amazing. Didn't even know
It's
that.
pretty big story. Henry was quite the businessman. He was known on Wall Street as the Hellhound Rogers.
Mhm.
And he was quite the philanthropist as well. He
Amazing.
besides helping Mark with all his finances, he put uh, Helen Keller through school.
I remember Helen Keller. Yes, I remember
He
that.
helped her both go to Radcliffe College.
That's amazing. So I didn't even know all this stuff. So I'm just so glad that you're telling me about it.
It's he's one of the unknown. I like to find these unknown characters who actually did a lot for the country,
Mm,
and nobody knows them because they wanted it that way.
right. Well, that's fabulous. I'm just loving everything that y'all are bringing to the table, especially to the community. So, you
We are
joining
all
the
volunteer, by the way. Every one of us
yes,
is volunteer. We do
yes,
this for the railroads to keep the railroads running. We
mhm,
also do it for living history museums,
yes,
historical societies, things like that.
and that's fabulous, and that's a wonderful way to give back. And I love that fact that you are volunteering. You're doing this. Do you also have a background in acting, or was this just something you just picked up?
I kind of fell into it. Besides starting to rob the trains, I was doing cowboy action shooting for a while,
Mhm.
and a local filmmaker put out a call. He wanted some cowboys because when you shoot cowboy action, you have to dress in period gear.
Yes,
So I
exactly.
said, well, let's give it a shot. He put a call out, wanted some cowboys. I got involved in that first full length feature,
Mhm,
got really interested in that. And that's where I really met the guys that were robbing the trains.
mhm,
So got involved in robbing the trains and making movies kind of all at the same time.
right. I did
And
see that. Mhm.
since then we've made two other full length feature films. One called Day of the Gun with Eric Roberts, uh, Bill Tillman and the Outlaws with Bobby Carradine, Darby Hinton, Lana Wood,
That's
Don
amazing.
Collier, a lot of the old cowboys.
And I love that. I love that you are continuing acting, you're making movies, you're bringing history to life, you're, educating the younger audiences because there's a lot of kids out there that don't know even who Mark Twain is, even though you're supposed
That's
to.
fact. You mentioned
Yes,
Mark Twain and they don't know who he is. So
yes. They made that necessary when I went in school. We had to learn about Mark Twain and all those stories. Matter of fact, my mother, she has a dog named Huck. So it's like Huckleberry.
there you
That's
go.
the thing. Yeah, so it was just a really great opportunity. I'm very thankful to have met you, Mr. Alexander, and your crew. So, is there any way that you can tell our viewers how to follow you, find you, how to get a hold of you for events?
Well, our events are all posted on our website, outlawsandpeacemakers.com.
Mhm. And
I used to have a Facebook page. It got hacked, so I stopped doing that. So we're
oh
hoping to reopen
no,
that shortly.
oh my gosh, I'm so sad to hear that. Because oh gosh,
Yes,
that happens so easily these days.
yes, it
But
does.
yeah, so are you also, I know y'all do the events, but are y'all available for bookings if people want to book your team or
We are. We've done a birthday party so far. People have asked, and we size down and size up. We've got several different groups, or many different groups actually, that will come together for the bigger events.
Mhm.
So it's not only Outlaws and Peacemakers, it's the Society of Western Reenactors, it's Mason-Dixon Cowboys, and several others all come together, and we all do the same thing and work together.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that y'all are just coming together for one unique presentation of history. And it just really resonated with me. I was like, I really have to meet you guys.
It's a shame you wouldn't be here this coming weekend because it's a big period campsite.
Absolutely. So I must ask you this, because I'm a photographer and I was taking the pictures that I'm going to send to you, but are you also looking for photographers or people to help you do video content, or do you have that already?
We have quite a few people that just kind of show up.
Uh-huh.
We don't really have anybody that we contract with. They just kind of show up and they'll give us the videos and pictures and everything like that. So they have as much fun as we do.
That's amazing. I love that
We've
too. It's like their way of giving back as well.
we've actually had one of them set up a complete photo shoot at one of our weekend event areas, which is Old Bedford Village over in Bedford, Pennsylvania. We do a weekend event there. He made
Mhm.
a separate event just to bring cowboys up and do photographs.
Oh, wow.
So that was
That's
something.
that's fascinating. So I do want to tell you when we were walking towards the train, y'all had the lassos, right? Do y'all make
Yes,
those and give them away?
I, I make those for the kids and give them away,
That's fantastic. I
and they
saw
all
y'all
get
spinning those.
excited about it.
That's
Some of them
amazing.
come back. Some of them
Uh-huh.
come back every year to get a new one.
Well, I promise you, when I come back to Maryland, I will come back out and see you guys again because it
That
was
would be
just
great.
so much fun. So much fun.
If you
So,
come in this way, try to coordinate it with one of our weekend events, and you'll see a big event.
yes, I would love to come back out. If I could get back to West Virginia to see my brother, I will, but I'll definitely come out and see you guys in Maryland. So, this is one of the cards that they gave me. So, whenever I went out there, I know it's probably backwards right now, but there you go. It's a really awesome, and y'all do weekend events. Oh, goodness gracious. And then you also, I do want to talk to you about the shootout. Um, so that was really fun. My nephew had a great time. And he was also asking about like the bullets that y'all use. So I know they're hollow guns, they're hollow bullets, correct? Blanks.
Well, no, that's a little bit of a misstatement.
Okay.
It's a blank that we use.
Uh-huh.
Now, we've had a lot of scrutiny, especially since the Rust event,
Mm-hmm.
and we are very strict on safety.
Mm-hmm.
Guns and ammunition all inspected before we go shooting at anybody.
Right.
We also you don't really shoot at somebody. It's either one
Mm-hmm.
side, you kind of point at one side or the other, or up
Mm-hmm.
or down, away from the person. From the distance that you see on film, you'll never see it.
Right.
Now, blanks themselves can be dangerous at very close range.
Okay.
But you notice when you were watching, we were every bit of beyond 20 feet between each other.
Yes, you were. Yes.
At that distance, you can't even feel it.
Mm-hmm.
As that distance decreases, you're going to feel a little pressure. If you get real close, you could actually burn somebody's clothing. You could burn
Right.
their skin, something like that. And at dead blank range, like several actors have died by putting the firearm to their head and pulling the trigger.
Oh my gosh.
And that is not good at all. And
No,
the
not
ending
ever.
of that is not good.
Yes. I
But
agree with that as well.
we have what we call safety marshals that make sure all of this is going to go safe and everybody's going to be well protected. So
Hmm. So I appreciate that you're making sure that everybody's safe, including the actors, and that's definitely we have to give recognition where it's due for your team that makes sure that all of you are safe, including the people that watch you. So
absolutely.
yes, and my dad, he's also very much into guns and all that kind of stuff, so he ensures always about safety too. And for our viewers out there, can you explain to them the importance of gun safety, why the parents especially need to make sure that their guns are safely secured?
Well, safely secured is certainly a good thing in a safe, something like that, where nobody's going to accidentally get a hold of them. Now, I
Mhm.
know there's some controversy about that because you want to have access to a loaded gun. And that's
Mhm.
fine if you've got kids. And I did this with all mine, even down to my grandkids.
Mhm.
Introduce them to the gun, let them touch it, feel it, even took them out shooting
Mhm.
so they understood it.
Right.
Not hiding it away where it's this big secret thing.
Mhm.
This is what it is. Look at it, see it, feel it, touch it, and taught
Mhm.
them how to make it safe. If they found one in a schoolyard, how they could make it safe and then go get an adult.
Right.
They all understood that. They all could do that. At that point in time, I could leave a loaded gun stood in the corner of my house and nobody would touch it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's education,
Mm-hmm.
the safe education of the firearm, not making it this big secret, because as we know, kids are going to want to know what that secret is and where is it.
Mm-hmm.
And they will find it. You give them enough time, the kids get very inventive on finding things.
They do.
And that's when the injuries happen. Introduce
Exactly.
them to it, give them the safety features, how to use it, how not to use it.
Exactly.
Very
Exactly.
important.
I agree with that too. So my dad has brought us all up to basically let us know what it is, how to keep ourselves safe, what it's for. He always tells us, he's like, if I educate you on this and you know that it's, something you shouldn't mess with, you're going to be less likely to be curious about it. So he's
Correct.
always educated the kids about it. And I really appreciate the fact that you taught your family and your kids and your grandkids about that. You kind of bring the importance of gun safety, because a lot of parents don't do that. And that goes a really long way.
Many
And
of them don't care to learn it themselves.
this is true. This is very true. And the reason why I was asking you about that, or why it's very important, is because I did see one of your actors. He was educating the dad and the kids about, gun safety and all that kind of stuff. He's like, this is what it is. The dad was right there, so he saw it and he explained it, and it was very nicely put. And the kids were less likely to want to touch it after that. They were just like, oh, okay, I know what it is now.
Absolutely. It's the same thing when we get the question, do we use real bullets? It's like, of course, our
Yes.
big answer is we used to, but we ran out of actors. Uh, we actually have what we call dummy rounds in our belts, which is a round that actually has the bullet in the casing, but no primer or no powder.
Right.
So we can actually show them this is what would really be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can show you a blank and this is what we shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Why we do this and why it looks the way it does, different than the real bullet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really appreciate that your whole team actually educates the family while you're putting on a show. And that's why I want to
Absolutely.
bring it to everybody's attention. This is so important, and y'all really need to go see this show. So tell them once again your website where they can get a hold of you.
Outlawsandpeacemakers.com. I'll be
Absolutely.
posting next year's schedule shortly.
That's wonderful. So everybody, please go like and subscribe, share this video. It's been really great, Mr. Alexander, for having you on my show today. After we get done recording, I will stand by so you can ask any questions about the magazine if you like. But I really, once again, appreciate you for taking your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.